This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer to Reaction. Today I reached my 100th supporter, and that's a milestone. I work hard at this, and I try to create content that is at least unique to me. There are plenty of reactions, there are plenty of reviews on YouTube, no doubt about it. But what I hope to bring is my own perspective, as twisted as it is at times, to the proceedings, and to make something a little interesting and a little fun, I hope. And I appreciate everyone that gives this channel a try, and I'm going to add new content regularly as I do, as well as try out new things as well, because growth is important to me. I don't want to create the same old stuff again and again, and I do want to try to create new and engaging content. And that takes time, and I'm working on that. So thank you everyone for giving this channel a try, and I hope to affirm your faith in what I'm doing. Peace. Anyway, what I'm talking about today is the trailer for Creepshow, which is going to be a new series on Chiller. It's a channel dedicated to horror. And that's a great idea because the first Creepshow in 1982 was not a great movie. It was an anthology. It's based on like an EC comic. It wasn't actually an EC comic as far as I'm aware, but it was certainly based on that format, like creepy, stuff like that. And it wasn't, as I said, great, but it had its moments of sheer brilliance. I don't recall the name of the story, but it involved E.G. Marshall, a great actor. Also used to host the Radio Mystery Theater, by the way, before he passed. He's just remarkable. He was also in 12 Angry Men. He's a great actor. E.G. Marshall's incredible. In any case, he was a germaphobe in this apartment, and he kept seeing roaches, and germaphobes and roaches don't mix. So he was just going out of his head, and it just was so excellent. And the practical effects were just so awesome. Sure, you could tell that was not a real person, but for CGI, it would lose something. I really enjoyed that. What was it? There was also the crate, which I thought was pretty neat. The story with Leslie Nielsen, I enjoyed, though I don't think it was actually that great a story. The Loathsome Death of Jodi Varro, starring Stephen King, was interesting, not very good, but interesting nonsense. Keep in mind, the original Creepshow was directed by George Romero, and it just sang for me. That movie just warms my heart. It's a great anthology. It's weird how things that aren't, it's not a great movie, frankly. It's got its moments, but as taken as a whole, it's not a great movie. But my God, it's great to me, and I don't quite get that, but that's okay. It had a sequel in 1987, Creepshow 2, and that was not as good. George Romero didn't direct the sequel, and it showed. I mean, there was one story, The Raft, which I thought was particularly effective, and I recall the opening and closing, a cartoon about a little boy and his plants who eat meat. And that was pretty awesome too. On the whole, the movie was weaker. And there was also, I might add, was it Chief Woodenhead, I think it was. Again, not bad, predictable, but wasn't really that great. But as I mentioned earlier, the story about the little boy and the plant that eats meat was actually pretty good. Creepshow 3 was the bizarrest thing and bizarre in a bad way. Everyone that worked on the prior two movies were gone, and it was just weird and strange, and I don't mean those things in a good way, because I actually like weird and strange movies. This was just bad, narratively bad, story-wise bad, and just really strange. I mean, it veered from the formula of the first two movies entirely, and it was just bad. If you haven't seen it, really watch it though, because it's terrible, but it's terrible in an interesting way. So hated Creepshow 3. So now, Chiller, as I said at the start, is launching a series, Creepshow. And Greg Nicotero, who directed quite a few episodes of The Walking Dead, he does the special effects. He used to be part of KNB effects group, and so they do special effects for gore effects in particular for movies. And so he did a lot of the work on The Walking Dead as well as directed some episodes of that. And he is working on this Creepshow. I don't know the capacity he's necessarily working on it in, but I'm certainly sure it has something to do with the special effects and probably even executive producing and directing, because he's shown he can do that quite well. So let's take a look at the trailer for Creepshow, the series. And once again, everyone who has contributed to this blog with your positivity and your support, thank you all. And the ones out there who just look for an insult to throw, thank you too. You're dicks, but thank you anyway. Let's check out the trailer for Creepshow.
Who are you?
You know it's okay to be scared, right?
You gonna tell me what this is all about?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
It's the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt, it looked like.
You kill again.
Greg Nicotero.
I see what you did there.
There are things in the corners of this world. They'll drive you insane.
That's Tobin Bell from
Generation
Saw.
has risen from the dead.
You're in for it now.
Why?
It's the way it's supposed to be.
I think it was Adrienne Barbeau. Well, that was a trailer for Creepshow, a series on Shudder, and cautiously optimistic. The thing is, we're still talking about an anthology format, so showing lots of scenes doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, they show little clips of things, but once again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything because you're talking about a format which is composed of lots of little stories. So the scenes that they show look fine, but at the same time, they get totally suck. The only way to judge an anthology is to actually see the stories that make it up, because trailers they can't do them justice, just by the nature of an anthology. It's just not going to work for a trailer. Though, that being said, it looks pretty good. I didn't get the humor from that trailer. Not much of any humor at all, frankly. And part of the charm, at least for me, for Creepshow, was that there were so many big actors at the time. Leslie Nielsen, Ted Danson, E.G. Marshall. Big actors. If you use actors that aren't quite as memorable, if you will, as those actors, it doesn't make it lesser than, but it certainly makes it not as interesting in its own way. But we'll have to see. This is Brian of ScreenFiles.com and Trailer into Reaction. Peace. And thank you once again, everyone.